Hey, boss, he ain't working.
The amendment that I believe is the bedrock of our democracy, and that is the First Amendment. Freedom of speech, freedom of the press, freedom to peaceably assemble, all of those things. This encapsulates all of that. And I'm glad that, at least to the extent that it has, that people are realizing the critical moment that we're in this country, that our rights are under assault. It may have started with people having their due process rights violated on the streets, violently violated on the streets. But now they're...
And see, this is my whole thing. Characters like him, they throw the rock and then hide the hand. Throw the rock and hide the hand. Now he's a martyr. This makes him more infamous than anything, because the rhetoric and the support that he's getting across the nation, that this is just simply a double down. We're just gonna gloss over the fact that disrespectful to go into the house of the Lord and be disruptive. We're just gonna gloss over that, right? Oh, well, this is freedom of speech. It's his right. No, freedom of press. No. Let's keep it simple. The blatant disrespect, and then going into a house of worship it was an organized interruption that he knew about. Y'all can't be serious. But this is the world that we live in. Let's keep it going.
Trying to silence journalists, and I will not be silenced. And I think journalists should not be silenced. I think this is a very critical time for journalists in this country to stand up to this tyrannical administration. And look, journalists are going to be, I believe they can be the folks that save us. I actually believe that artists will be the people that save us as well. And that's why I'm here in Los Angeles, is to cover the artists who are exercising their freedom of expression rights and creating fantastic music. And so I'll explain to you in a moment what happened, because I was...
and if y'all not, and I think he's not lying about that. Think about it. Think about what he's saying. Over the course of 2 weeks, there have been more and more celebrities coming out saying things. At first, you will see just a few, more like a few actors. Now you're seeing musicians, I would say. You just recently, it was on his story from LeBron James. You got Lady Gaga saying something now. And slowly but surely, you are seeing the play. You're seeing the play in real time, that they're slowly pulling on the heartstrings of all of these celebrities and things of that nature. When most of these celebrities are not going to leave the comfort of their home, they're just going to throw money at it. But a lot of y'all fools will be out here just protesting about any and everything. And, we just going to forget about the fraud and forget about illegals throughout our country, right? We're just going to forget about all of that. Like I said, this is their play. This is their play. And I hope that the Trump administration does not play into this. I hope that they continue to do what they're doing, because at the end of the day, they want chaos. They're galvanizing their constituents. They're galvanizing their base, getting ready for the midterms. At every level, there has been an attack on this administration. As soon as he came through the door, like I keep on stating, he has not been able to have the benefit of the doubt and mess up on his own without it being some form of, without these individuals like him putting their hand in the pot. But I digress. Let's keep it going.
Actually covering, I had just been on the red carpet at the Black Music Collective, the Grammy Black Music Collective, and we were talking about the power and the importance of representation in music and black music. I had just seen Ketanji Brown Jackson. I just waved hello to her as she walked by. She didn't want to do an interview. Journalist for 30 years, if not more. So look, I have been, guys, a journalist for 30 years, if not more. I'm a man of a certain age. You know, I always say old people be knowing. And the only job or profession that is protected in the Constitution, I believe, and in the very First Amendment, is a job that I do, is a job that I have, and so many journalists around the world. So this is a moment for journalists, I believe, around the world. And I am so grateful to everyone who has voiced their support, who has put out statements, who has reached out to me, who has said, whatever you need financially, whatever support that you need. It has been overwhelming. And I do think right now that people understand that, again, this is a very critical time. And I hope that this continues, and to support not just me. If I can be the catalyst for or the inspiration for people to say, finally, stand up to the powers that be in our government, and also, quite frankly, having come from corporate media for a long time, to stand up to the gatekeepers, the corporations, and say, no, I am not going to bend the knee to this administration. I am not going to put on liars and insurrection deniers and election deniers. I'm not going to give my platform to those people. I'm not going to put people on television and give them a platform, people who come on just to lie and to offend and to insult people. It's insulting to the American people. This is not folly. It's not funny. This is not a game. If you look at any tyranny or any autocracy, any sort of dictatorship, the first thing they do is they get rid of the media. They try to silence the media. Ask Turkey about that, Erdogan. Ask Iran about that. Ask any country that has lost its way, that has been overtaken by a dictator. They get rid of the press first. And so we need to start standing up. And I got to say that from.
So during the Biden administration, we seen it firsthand, correct? Where were you? Where were you when the Biden administration was telling these social media outlets not to censor people, right? Elon Musk had to buy Twitter. Critical thinking and thinking for yourself starts with the individual. And as we can see, these people live in a hive. They're not dumb. They're not naive. They just play into what fits their narrative. And as you can see, this is what Don Lemon is doing right now. And he's capitalizing off of it, I might add.
What I've heard, I haven't had a chance to see it. I've heard that my former colleagues at CNN all came out pretty unanimously, pretty strongly to support me. I understand. I believe that CNN released a statement. I've heard that CNN released a statement. Thank you very much. I have no animus for CNN. I have no animus for anyone, but I tell the truth as about what I see. And I think it's time for all journalists to stand up for each other. So I appreciate that. And look, at CNN, I worked with the best journalists in the world. So I wish them nothing but the best. But I believe those journalists as well need to stand up to the corporation. They need to tell Warner Brothers Discovery, stop playing and get your hands out of the newsroom. CBS needs to tell Paramount and David Ellison and whatever, get out of our newsroom.
I think he's correct on that part. Because as much as I see on MS Now and CNN and other platforms, they talk the same rhetoric and not even really covering the news. It's super biased. And yes, I know Fox can be biased as well, but I believe I can see his point on that. I don't think, and that's why we have independent journalism now. That's why you see the Megyn Kellys. That's why you see the the Nick Shirleys. That's why you see the Officer Tatum and things of that nature, because of mainstream media only spews what they're told to spew. There's no independent. There's no journalism. They're not even getting outside of these offices anymore. So like, I can see his point in that, but this all just goes back to him just playing victim, in my opinion.
Get out of our journalism. Barry Weiss, take your hands off of it. Let the journalists be the journalists. All of them. That goes for every single corporate entity that owns a journalistic organization. Let the journalists be the journalists, because they're going to save our democracy if you just let them do it. The way to stand up to a bully, to a tyrant, is not to bend the knee. It's not to acquiesce. It is to metaphorically punch them right in the nose. And you need to introduce not only Donald Trump and the folks who work for him and his administration, but the corporate overlords and the gatekeepers. You need to introduce them to the word no. All the journalists, they cannot fire you. We were always taught when I worked in corporate media that the news is a star. That's bullshit. If the news was a star, everybody would have the same ratings. And everybody doesn't have the same ratings. The journalists are the stars. The people who are delivering the news, those are the stars. And the people who do it well, do well, they get the ratings and they get the respect. So it is, and actually having come from that, now I understand that what my star quality is, that is being honest and authentic and telling the truth. And I think that's, if everyone did that and they were not afraid of the powers that be, that's our motto. That's our mission. Just like a doctor, just like a lawyer, what we're supposed to do is hold the powerful to account and do no harm. And if you don't,
But Don, you did harm. Don, we're not finna sit here and gloss over the fact that you were in cahoots with these people. Even if you only met them 2 days ago, you knew the plan. You knew a form of the operation. You prepped for this, and then you went in right after they bombarded into the church. So you're talking about doing no harm, but you did harm. You actually put your hands on the pastor. Remember the part? Don't touch me. But you all in this man's face trying to interview him when he's focused on his flock and focused on his family. Oh, I was just here covering the news. Come on, man. Come on. That was to disrupt. And you were along with that process. You don't have the right to pick and choose when you have a prep, when you can use your press. There were children in there. These people thought it was going to be a mass shooting in a church. Like, so this rhetoric that these people are trying to harp on and trying to double down on is quite ludicrous, in my opinion. It should have never happened. And now you hear the Cuomos of the world. Now you hear Stephen A. talking about protecting Don Lemon. But would y'all have done that? Because y'all been doing it for a long time. In my opinion, y'all know better not to go into certain places, right? Y'all know that. But because people don't like Trump and don't like the Trump administration and don't feel that this qualifies as Don Lemon being arrested, we're just gonna skip over the merits of the case right in front of us. this is really pissing me off because it just shows the blatant disrespect for Christ and our Lord God. Like, we're just gonna gloss over what transpired, because if they would have got their heads cracked in that church, if he would have got his head cracked, would he be regurgitating this same rhetoric? He would have quadrupled down on being a victim then. So I think this is ludicrous. I think this is a lot of bull. Like I said, I hope that once we get the information on this on his charges, I hope Dunn Lemon goes down for this, to keep people in line and check. That you can, all because you have the freedom of speech and the freedom of press, doesn't give you the right to do certain things. That does not give you a pass. And like I state every day, our choices have consequences. And I hope this gets checked. We cannot overlook this, in my opinion. But it's your boy Mercy. Y'all tell me what y'all think in the comments. Remember to like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. I'm out.